Welcome to One Chapter, One Thought. I'm Pastor Chris from Lincroft Bible Church in New Jersey, and every weekday I read one chapter of the Bible and offer one brief devotional thought. Today's reading is from the book of Psalms, chapter 13. For the choir director, a psalm of David. How long, O Lord, will you forget me? Forever? How long will you look the other way? How long must I struggle with anguish in my soul, with sorrow in my heart every day? How long will my enemy have the upper hand? Turn and answer me, O Lord my God. Restore the sparkle to my eyes, or I will die. Don't let my enemies gloat, saying, we have defeated him. Don't let them rejoice at my downfall. But I trust in your unfailing love. I will rejoice because you have rescued me. I will sing to the Lord because he is good to me. One thought. Every single Christian has wondered how long at some point in their faith journey with the Lord. How long will I have to wait for something good to happen? How long will my enemies have the upper hand? How long will I have to wait for the salvation of my family and friends? How long will I struggle with this sin? When we question God in that way, we are in good company. David does it too. He asks the Lord, how long, 4 times in the first 2 verses. But after David questions the Lord, he then calls on the Lord to do 3 things for him. Turn, answer me, O Lord my God. Restore the sparkle to my eyes, or I will die. David wants the Lord to turn his attention to him, to take note of his struggles. David repeatedly calls on the Lord to pay attention to what's happening in the world throughout the Psalms. He does not want to feel abandoned any longer by the Lord. But David pushes things even further. He gets even bolder as he demands the Lord to answer him. I don't think that David is necessarily asking God to speak in an audible voice to him. I think this answering is the Lord executing his justice against those that are wicked and evil and committing injustice. Throughout the Psalms, really beginning back in Psalm chapter 3, David has been locked into this struggle, being harassed and maligned and chased down by the wicked. And so God's answer is God's deliverance of David. And then he also says, restore the sparkle to my eyes, or I will die. I think that this is a metaphor for spiritual renewal. We're having the sparkle return to your eyes is more or less, you get a good night's sleep, you wake up and you look refreshed and you look ready to go, right? And that's what David is kind of using this metaphor of this refreshment of sleep, I think, as a spiritual renewal here. And so he wants to be renewed spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. Now, if David makes these quote-unquote demands of the Lord, he also recognizes his need to turn to the Lord himself. It's not that he just goes off and demands things from God or expects things from God and then just sits back and feels entitled. But David matches his 3 requests from the Lord with 3 things that he will do. In verses 5 and 6, he says, I will trust in your unfailing love. I will rejoice because you have rescued me. I will sing to the Lord because he is good to me. David is going to trust in God's unfailing love. In Hebrew, this is the word hesed. Hesed is a word that's very difficult to translate into English because it has such a range of meanings. But one of them that comes out continually is God's covenant loyalty, that God has made promises to his people through a covenant, and therefore God will be loyal to those promises, loyal to his covenant, loyal to work on behalf of his people. And so David is saying, look, God, you have made promises to me. You are in covenant with me. I am trusting in your loyalty. I am trusting that you will work on my behalf. He also says that I will rejoice because you have rescued me. I love how David puts this both in the future and the past here. He's saying, I will rejoice. This is coming. I'm confident of this. But he's basing it on the fact that God will work on his behalf. You have rescued me. And so he's utterly assured of God's deliverance in his life. And then he says, I will sing to the Lord because he is good to me. And so where David lands on everything is worship. He will worship the Lord because of the Lord's goodness. So David is very bold before the Lord, but he also rests completely in the Lord and worships him completely.